All right, so we had a crazy day today. um, Kind of has two different sides to it. So overall, the Dow was down. Let's see what the Dow was down today. I always forget to look. I think that I would look ahead of time. All right, Dow was down 1.23%, down 300 points. And I kind of saw that overnight. So initially, the Dow futures were showing up 200 points. And so I was thinking, okay, tomorrow's going to be a really big day. And then as the night went on, that number went down and down and down and down. So got to a point it was pretty much break even, very similar to where we're at today. But the good news is we were well positioned for that. So one of the things that we noticed is we had some limit orders take effect. So overall, and we'll leave this, these are the limit orders that we have left over. We had 4 limit orders take place today. We had Every, which is the ATM company that works with casinos. That's the absolute one I wanted to get into. We had Akagi, and I don't know what that stands for, but they own British Airways, Iberian, Aer Lingus, Lufthansa, a whole bunch of, no, maybe not Lufthansa because they're their own separate one, but a bunch of European airlines, American Airlines, and VKTX, which is what is that? It was Viper Technologies. Gosh, what is that? Let's take a look and see. Boop. Yeah, Viking Therapeutics. That's what it is. And they are awaiting approval on a drug that's supposed to blow it up. And again, they always refer to the CEO, the company, as Brian, who's the CEO, Brian's ATM. So this one's looking to get in. So I was definitely looking to get in there. So overall, we got into 4 of them. We got into Viking Therapeutics at 625 and bought at 625, went down to 562, which is fine. No problem with that. It's going to go back up. I'm not super concerned about that at all. We got into Every, which is the ATM company. So we bought it at 495, or we put a limit order for that in and bought at 495. It's sitting at 498, which is perfect. So we bought it, went up a tiny fraction. Kagi, which is the European airline, we put in an order at 575. We actually got it in at 553, which is even better. So it ended at 569, which is good. We're a little positive. Not that makes a whole lot of difference. We also bought into American at 12.25 a share. So we dropped our cost basis down to 15.63. So we're moving close to a break even on American. And let's take a look at them. And American had their earnings report today. American and Delta both had their earnings report today, and they were down 5%. Not Delta, United was down 5%. So overall, it's good. We got in. So that's kind of what we were hoping for. You need a down day to get into the market at a good price. So it's a functional low day in the market, which is exactly what we want to have. The last thing we want to have is buy a stock high, have the market drop down low, and unnecessarily lose equity. So there's no point in doing that. There's no lesson learned. There's no advantage gained. So today was a really good day, all things being considered. The market went down basically 1 point something percent. And for us, it went down 6, which is not too abnormal. All right, so with that being said, let's take a look at some winners and losers from our portfolio. Groupon, which honestly I don't care. They gave me 1 free share for signing up to Robinhood, so it's the only reason it's in here. Beyond that, is there any other double digits? No. 1, 7, 8, 4, 8. We have, let's see, Redwood Trust went down 10%. PVAC went down 22.5, but that one's been rocketing up since, so I'm not too worried about that. And then Yuko, the red-headed stepchild, went up 16, 17%. So that's really good. As far as our watch list, anything going down? Red Robin Group went down 12%. Let's see. Those are 10. Those are 10. Everything else is single digits. Anything notable? Let's take a look. Yeah, nothing notable. So it's an overall light, low day in the market, which is totally fine with me. We got our limit orders in. So from here, we're going to look at our upside. So plugged in the numbers end of day, sorted them by upside. If you're new to this is what we do every day. We want to take a look and see what has the best chance of earning us the most amount of money. So Yuko's number one, but we are well positioned for that, so we're good. IVR, I haven't heard any good news from them. I haven't heard much news from them at all, but one of their investors pulled out recently, so I'm not really going to touch that for a while, even though that's there. We will continue to look at it every day, but until I hear something that pushes me to believe there's a reason to invest in them, I don't really see the reason to do that. MFA, we're going to let that go. We're pretty well invested in that. Redwood Trust is doing pretty good, but again, they don't have a buying recommendation, so it's kind of tough to see on there. Zool, we're pretty well set. GNC is a mess, so that's still up there, but I keep it on here. We'll see what that does, but there might be some news pop up. Maybe somebody buys them out. That is totally possible. You might see Amazon buy them out, and don't be surprised if that happens. But two harbors showing in the blue, which means we want to increase our investment of that to balance out our portfolio. We have a limit order for that set right here. And Service Corporation's the same thing, but they help deal with the West Texas oil basin. So we're not ready to invest in that, and if they had a rating, I would consider doing that. So right now we have 3 limit orders left. One is Two Harbors, which is a real estate investment trust, a REIT. One is Menlo, which is a biotech company. Again, it has an 88% rating, and they have some tests going on. The last couple, their safety protocols didn't pass, so they didn't pass their particular phase. I think it was phase 1 or phase 2, but there's a lot of people rooting for this stock to go up, so we'll take a look at that. I put a small equity share, I mean really small, like $400 in that, but that's subject to change in the future. And then we have United, which we're really only doing to lower our cost basis. So if it goes down to 29, which is totally possible considering it's at 30 today, we'll trigger that. So with that being said, we'll look at our holdings today. And again, this document is in the link in the video description, so you can go ahead and pull this up, take a look at it, play around with the numbers. You can use this if you want, and it's a great tool to have. So with that being said, we are looking at an overall on our holdings of 17%, and that's just for the month alone. So if you take the 16, and this is just a very rough math, but if you take 16.64 and multiply it over the course of a year, basically looking at 200% increase in what we're doing, which is good. It just tells us we're on the right pace. So our leaders in the clubhouse, Braemar Resorts at 150, Crestwood Equity at 130, and we have a whole bunch in the mid 50s and 60s. Azul's already at 10%. We just bought that. And Penn, Virginia is at 53%. We just bought that. So things are looking really good. Yuko was at 70s, but it's now at 64. So that's moving in the right direction. And that one is going to jump at some point. Probably is not going to jump for a couple months, but at some point that sucker is going to jump like a rabbit. And then Viking Therapeutics, we bought at 625, but it dropped down a little bit low. So this one's going to recover back in the black in no time flat. So overall, with that being said, off the amount we put in, we're sitting at a 60% gain off of the cash. And then I also put in a March and April report on this. The March one's a little bit, there wasn't a whole lot going on for March. The April one, I really wanted to flex out a little bit more. And that one just shows literally everything. So we have basically what we bought it for, if we sold anything, what we sold it for, and the realized gain, what we currently own right now, along with an unrealized gain, and our total gain for each one, as well as our total percentage. And I'm still playing around with this number because I know it's off. It shouldn't be 17% because we reinvested funds into other shares. So I'm going to play around with this chart to see how to better line that up. So, but overall for the year, basically if we're looking at what we did overall, we're looking at a 60% gain on what we were doing. far as projections, the same thing. I haven't plugged these ones in yet, but we're probably still going to be somewhere around 165,000. So look for that to be updated. If you want to go into the report, it's going to actually be updated, more updated than what it is on this video. So with that being said, let's take a look at tomorrow's numbers. And again, they are always very preliminary because they are subject to change and see what happens. But tomorrow's the last day of the week for big corporate earnings reports coming out. And it's showing a big negative day. So that's fine. If that means nothing else, again, we're taking a long-term view, then hopefully we get to see Menlo, United, and Two Harbors trigger. It's going to take a big jump down for Two Harbors to trigger, but that's fine. It's going to take about $1 to trigger United, which probably will happen tomorrow, and 34 cents for Menlo, which very well might happen tomorrow. So if that's the case, it just means our buys go in, which is exactly where we want them to be, and it will be well positioned. And again, the nice thing about this is if this goes down sufficiently, then what we're going to do, and this are always opportunities, is these upside numbers are going to go up, and they're going to reposition and scatter, so they're going to rearrange. So it gives us an opportunity to find something that we really want to buy. And if something jumps off the table, I'm going to pull cash off the sidelines. In other words, funds that aren't even in this investment portfolio, and we are going to throw money at it. So other than that, if I did have to do a sell order, I would probably take some of if I took the least performing one, not Azul, because that's new. Norwegian's pretty good over the long haul. Maybe MFA. I just kind of have a feeling for that one. I just kind of like that one. I don't know. I mean, they're all doing pretty good. It's hard for me to say that I'd pull cash off the table for any of these. So, but I don't know. We'll let the numbers decide that tomorrow. It's not up to me. There's no gut. There's no intuition. We're just going to look at the numbers, look at our key performance indicators, our KPIs, and decide where we want to put that amount. So overall, we're in a really good shape off of 29,000 in cost basis. We're sitting at 35,000 for a gain of 5,000 off our current holdings. So we're going to be at a point pretty soon where we're going to have another $5,000 day, and what we want to do is see this number go over 40. And overall, we're going to take a look and at some point to see our numbers go over 100,000. So with that being said, we'll see you tomorrow.
Now, this is just a small sample of what we have in our full program. If you want to change the results you're having, you want to get rid of the struggle, and you want to actually have sales be easy, where people naturally are signing up with you all the time, and you're not really even putting in much effort, it's time to make that change in your life right now. Go ahead and click on the button below and get started in our full program. And when you do click on that button, you're going to get a full description of what we get the program. I have a couple bonuses that I want to throw your way. We're constantly adding free stuff to the program. And it's also going to talk about our full no-brainer guarantee. So click on the button below to get started now.